Hi guys, this is Tina from Shabbydabbydoodah. Welcome back to my channel. So we are here for another one of our mass making sessions. We are up to week number 198, would you believe? So what are we making today? We are making Jabots. They are spelt Jabots. So apologies if I have pronounced that wrong, but I think they are pronounced Jabots. They look like this. Okay, so they're like the Victorian collars, you know, that they used to wear kind of at their necks. And they look gorgeous, obviously, on covers and things like that. I mean, actually, they look pretty on pages and things as well, but they look especially nice on covers. And obviously, sometimes they can be a bit bulky. So I tend to favour them for covers for junk journals. So if you want to mass make the Jabots along with me today, what are you going to need? You are going to need some lace for this sort of frilly collar type piece. So I've just got a variety of different laces here. So just kind of scraps will do, because obviously, you know, you don't use a very big piece per Jabot. And then you're going to need some ribbon. Now, the ribbon that I find works best is ribbon that it is, I think, 5/8 of an inch is what they call it when you buy it. So I'm just going to kind of double check it on here. So yeah, I mean, it's just kind of in between the 1/2 inch and the 3/4 of an inch point. So I think when they sell this, it's actually officially kind of, you know, the size is officially 5/8 of an inch. Any narrower than that, you can make them, but I find that they can, you know, look a little bit on the flimsy side. You know, a little bit kind of like out of proportion, I suppose. Unless, I guess, you were making them very teeny and having a very small centre and, you know, very small piece of lace. Personally, I would find that very fiddly to make, but, you know, play around and kind of use what suits you best. So 5/8 of an inch ribbon is ideal. Now, I've got a variety of velvet ribbon. So this gorgeous velvet ribbon and this grosgrain ribbon, and also some satin ribbon. So you can kind of use anything. The only ribbon that I would probably shy away for this is organza, and the only reason being is because actually, you know, organza ribbon's quite thin and flimsy, and you want something a little bit more solid that's going to definitely hold its own here, you know, in a sort of, you know, formation. So you're going to need that. Then you're going to need something to put in the centre of your Jabots. So I'm just going to show you these kind of examples that I've got here. So I've got these kind of flat back gems. And this one, I've got one of the chipboard tiles that we have made in a previous mass making. So you could use a chipboard tile, you could use a button, you could use a bow, you could use a wax seal. Yeah, I mean, anything really. You could use, if you've got some of like these flower trims and things, you could use some of that. I will probably stick with these flat back gems. Now, the reason being is because, like I say, I like to try and put these mainly on the covers, and I like something quite blingy. That's just kind of personal, you know, personal preference. So do use, obviously, your choice of stuff. So something for the centre, and then you're going to need some glue. Now, again, for these, I think you want something quite, you know, instant drying. So for me, it's a hot glue gun. Mine is a Bosch. It's a PKP 18E. And I'm only saying that because lots of people ask me what glue gun I use. So that's my glue gun. And I do use the Bosch glue sticks because sometimes I've used alternatives. And actually sometimes then, you know, the things don't really stick down permanently. So, and aside from that, you're obviously going to need your scissors. So that's all that you're going to need to join along. So let's get making some. Okay, so what you're going to want to do is take your ribbon. So I'm going to start with this piece of grosgrain ribbon, and only because it's just, you know, the first one that I've grabbed, really, you know, nothing kind of more than that. Now, what you want to do is you want to gauge how big you want your little, you know, fold type bits to be. So take your piece of ribbon and just, you know, make a sort of circle like that. Pinch it with your fingers. And then, you know, just press it in the middle so you can see how big your, you know, how long your loop type pieces are going to be. Because that's going to kind of tell you, you know, how big this is going to be. Okay. So once you're happy with that, you can then obviously cut that down. And then you can just use that as your guide to cut your other pieces. So I'm going to just cut mine down here like that. and you want to get 3 pieces. So preferably kind of like, you know, I'm not necessarily saying identical, but you know, you want them pretty similar. You don't want them kind of like miles out. So just fold your ribbon round and then just cut it so they're all kind of similar length. Okay. Oops, did not cut that one at the top. So there we go. Okay, now all you're going to do is take your ribbon and make your 3 loops. So this is where I'm saying that, you know, it helps if you've got an instant glue, really. So like that, and then we just, first one, like that. Oops, I forgot to glue it down here. So like that. Now I think it helps if you don't use, oops, too much glue. So you don't want to be kind of like too overly generous, because obviously otherwise you're going to end up with quite a thick center. So just try and use like a, you know, a minimalist amount of glue if you're using a hot glue gun, that is. Obviously if you're using other glue, you know, you might not have to worry so much. So that's those 2, and then the final piece, oops, the final piece here. So again, just take it in here, push that into the center. And again, just judging by eye, really. So, you know, just don't stress too much. It doesn't have to be perfect. You're just looking at sort of roughly getting it into the center like this. Okay. And then you've got your 3 little bow type pieces. So then what you want to do is just cross them over like that and have your 3rd piece, oops, going across the middle. Like that. Okay, so again, you can kind of like gauge really yourself what angles they need to be, so that preferably you've got a sort of bit of you know, not space necessarily, but so they're all fanned out completely. Now as you can see, when I was making these, you know, myself kind of, you know, in quiet time, I actually suddenly found myself making them with just 2 ribbons. Now that was laziness really on my part. I obviously, you know, this was my first batch and I'd made them with 3, and then when I kind of started making them later, I just switched to 2. They look actually perfectly fine with 2. I think they're probably better with 3. But, you know, if you're running short on ribbon, or, you know, running short on time, or just can't be bothered, just make do with 2. I think they look equally, you know, equally nice. So, but, you know, for this, we're just going to go for 3. So, and we want to have that reasonably spaced out like this, because we're going for the 3, so we've got a good amount there for the 3rd ribbon to sit in. So again, if you're only using 2, you might want to not have your ribbon splayed out so much. Okay, I mean, so straight away that looks, you know, really nice, doesn't it? So then obviously take your lace, pick the lace colour that you want to use. So let's use some of this, which I think looks quite nice. Now, what I like to do is just cut it down to a sort of reasonable size. So like that. Now, obviously I don't need it to be the full height. So can I get away with half? Probably not. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to cut it down like that. So I'll just cut that top piece off. I will keep that because I'll probably be able to use that, not in this project, but in something else. And then you just want to scrunch it up so you're making a shape, basically, that's going to sit nicely with this. So you might be able to get away with just folding the corners in twice, if that makes sense. So just like that. Okay, so you're just giving it a sort of, you know, like almost a semicircle at the top, like that. And then your ribbon will sit neatly on top. And again, just gauge it all by, you know, by eye. There's no kind of measuring goes on here. You know, it's just sort of however you judge it. So, you know, if you'd rather have your lace splaying out a little bit further, obviously use a bit more of a longer piece of lace. If you want to have, you know, a longer piece of lace, then of course use a longer piece. You know, it's your project ultimately. And so make it how you want to make it. Now, I've never done these with a double piece of lace, but I guess probably that would look, you know, I'm sure very, very pretty. So in fact, let's give that a try now. So now this one's on a gathered header, so I always like to just tear it off really from there. You know, I don't generally use a gathered lace. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to get rid of this end, which is a bit weird shape. So just cut that down there. Okay. And then we're just going to cut this down again. Now I've cut this slightly longer because obviously, you know, if I'm having this under here, I might want it to be slightly, you know, slightly wider. But again, just hot glue that in. Like that, okay. And then we could probably have that there like that. So now I'm going to personally just trim off the top of here slightly, because otherwise I could find this is overhanging. I have to be careful because it's quite hot still. Okay, but it's getting colder all the time, so yeah, it doesn't really take long for it to cool down, but do be careful. I mean, obviously my fingers are probably really toughened up to this, but okay, so put that down like that, and then you could just pop that on there, and you've got then a double, you know, a double layer of lace, which, like I say, I've never actually made them with a double layer of lace before, but you know, that's what the beauty of these reruns of the mass making is, isn't it? Because then we can try other things that perhaps we didn't try the first time around. So there we go. I mean, I love how that looks. And then go to your centers and pick something that's going to go nicely. Oh, right, there we go. We've got a blue one right at the center, right at the top, sorry. I mean, how gorgeous does that look? So, oops. Let's just glue that down. Oh my gosh, doesn't that look gorgeous? Absolutely love it. So really, really, really pretty, isn't it? Absolutely love it. You could put some little ribbons hanging out or anything like that if you wanted to. I mean, personally, I don't really think it needs anything else, but you know, just play around and kind of make them how you want them. So I'm just going to run you through a second one, and then we will do this sort of assembly line style where we do all the stages at the same time. But I'll just run you through one more so that, you know, it's, well, so as I've really given you a thorough kind of watch of one. So let's do one, in fact, in the velvet, because the velvet may be, you know, may be different or may come across different issues. So again, just going in, gauging how big I want my loops to be. So that gives me where I need to cut my ribbon down to, like that. Take my ribbon like this, and then I'm just going to cut that there, and then get my third piece and cut that down there. Okay, so you've got your three, you know, very similar size pieces of ribbon. Like I say, they don't have to be identical, but just, you know, similar sizes. And then you're going to put them over to make your loops. So I'll just go in here, small bit of glue there, and then we're going to go over with this one. So the velvet ribbon obviously is that much thicker than the Grosgain, so that may cause, you know, kind of problems. So, you know, what you could also do is you may decide to mix your ribbon. So shall we try that now? Like I say, I mean, I love these reruns from a point of view that we're trying different things to perhaps what we tried the first time. So if I just pop that like that, and then we'll just glue our third one. Okay, like that. Okie dokie. Like that. Okay, right. So that's our three ribbons, and then I've got here some ivory in the Grow Game ribbon. So what I'm going to just do, oh gosh, oh, right, what I'm going to just do is fold that round so as I make a similar size loop. Oops, so it needs to be a little bit longer. Okay, all right, so we cut it about here, like that. And then, yeah, we just take this one in. Just check I'm getting this similar size because we're going to mix this in. So as we've got a mixture of the two colours. Now, I'm not sure whether I've done this before. I may have done, I don't know whether I've done it on film before, to be honest. You know, when you kind of like make things all the time, it's hard to remember really what you've done and what you haven't. And definitely hard to remember what you may have filmed or what you haven't. So I do apologise if I'm just, you know, repeating myself. But what you'd have now is obviously your, you know, quite splayed out pieces, and then this one through the middle. So I mean that looks really nice, doesn't it? So I'm wondering if I might be better, because this has got that thickish, you know, bulk here. I'm thinking maybe I mean you can eliminate some of the bulk here by, I've turned it round so that my bulkier pieces are not next to each other, if that makes sense. So if I just pop glue down there. So they're going the opposite direction to each other. So the bulky parts are not in the same place, if that makes sense. So that one, and then this piece here, like that. Pop that one down across the middle. There, like that, okay. And then we'll just make our little collary type piece. So again, I've got this gorgeous, I mean this isn't antique lace, but it looks very like antique lace, doesn't it? So again, just going to cut that little piece off there, only because otherwise I think it might be too long. So again, I will keep that because I'm sure that I will be able to use that somewhere else. You know, not today, but in a different project. So again, just take my pieces in. This one I think I've cut a little bit longer, so I'm just going to kind of fold it over 3 times, like that. And then just fold that in and glue that down there. So, I mean, how gorgeous is that? Absolutely love it. Now, in my flat back, now I have talked recently, but again, I'm not sure whether the video's gone up, so I do apologise because I film ahead generally. I never really know my, you know, upload schedule and whether things have gone up or not gone up. But I talked about this recently in a video. Like I say, whether it's gone up or not, I'm not sure. But about the flat back gems. Now, I've sourced mine, you know, anywhere really, anywhere that I could get them, but they do tend to be very expensive. So I have had a few people requesting that I offer them for sale on my, you know, physical shop. The only reason why I haven't is because I can't really find them at a good enough price. I really like to offer things that, you know, I would consider good value. And if they're not really good value, I'd rather not offer them. So, you know, I'm not saying these are bad value, but I'm not able to source them, you know, for very good value. So then to obviously resell them, you know, they probably wouldn't be, you know, seeming like great value at all. So, yeah, I just, you know, that's why I've not offered them for sale. If ever I do manage to find them at a great, you know, great price, I will, of course, stock them in my shop. But until that point, you know, I can't offer them, I'm afraid. But, you know, you can find them online and things. You know, like I say, the problem is getting them at any form of sort of good value is, I've found, you know, not very easy to find. So that's that one with obviously the different tone ribbon. So I think that looks quite pretty and a nice alternative. So what we're going to do now is just kind of assembly line style making these. So by that, I mean, I'm going to cut all my ribbons to, you know, length. I'm going to do all my loops, then do all my lace collars and then assemble them all. So hopefully we can make quite a few. So I'm just going to pop that to one side, and we will just start, you know, cutting the ribbons down. So I'll just, you know, fold some in, or fold one in first to get my, you know, my rough desired length. And then I'll, you know, make them all kind of similar size. So that seems like quite a good length. And then I will just, you know, cut them all kind of this sort of size. So there we go. So yeah, we can just have a relax now and have a catch up and, you know, kind of have a chat really. So have a nice time for the next kind of 45 minutes. So I hope everybody is doing well. I hope your week's all started out well. So for anyone who watches my channel, you'll know that I generally film these videos on a Monday to go out for you guys on a Tuesday. So I have just got back to my house. Again, if you watch my channel, you'll know that I rented my house out for, it's an event that's held locally, but it is actually a worldwide kind of known event. It's a motor racing kind of event, but it's done in a vintage theme, so it attracts a lot of attention, you know, from men and women alike, or car enthusiasts or not, because everyone dresses in sort of vintage fashion and things. So I rented my house out for the event because I live very close to the event, and you know, the accommodation is crazy. It gets sold out like months and months in advance, and you know, I mean, like for miles and miles around. You know, it becomes like impossible to get accommodation, you know, in the local area during that time. So I rented my house out for it last year. I've rented my house out again for it this year. Now, I have to say, I've only been back in my house for about, 45 minutes, or yeah, about an hour, I suppose, this morning. So I have not cleaned up or anything like that. I've come straight in and, you know, just quickly, you know, made some breakfast, settled the dog. I've set some stuff off to print that I was making while I was away, and you know, because I didn't have a printer. So yeah, kind of like just done a few things, and you know, unpacked my clothes, and then I've got straight on with filming. So yeah, I haven't kind of cleaned or anything. So yeah, I've got a mass cleaning operation to do. But having said that, and I know I have mentioned this before, I'm so lucky because my youngest son, so he's 17, he loves cleaning. So, wow. I mean, what a situation to have a son who loves cleaning. He loves cleaning, and he especially loves like a big clean like that, you know, where you have like a big wow, you know, when it looks so different. So of course, you know, like all the beds need cleaning, you know, changing, and, you know, things like that. Obviously the bathroom and things, you know, downstairs toilet and things, that all needs cleaning. And yeah, well, I guess the kitchen, and I mean, everywhere needs obviously cleaning. The Hoover needs chucking around and things, but I mean, you know, whether or not we need to polish and stuff like that, I don't really know. But oops, sorry, I've just knocked something else down. Yeah, I mean, I probably should polish, but you know, maybe I perhaps won't, just because obviously I polished before they came, so you know, why would I polish again? I mean, to be honest, yeah, it's probably cleaner than it is normally at the moment. So yeah, but obviously all that needs doing and things. So but yes, it's still, well, I was going to say early, it's not early really now, but the people left by kind of 9, so I was back in here by like 9:15. So yeah, it's like 10:15 or whatever now. So not particularly early now, but yeah, anyway, it's so nice to be back into my house. So yeah, I feel just like, yay, we are back. I mean, obviously it's just me at the moment because everyone else is out at work and school, but yeah, so that's kind of what I've been doing. I was so lucky because obviously, I mean, I wasn't going to the Goodwood. It's called the Goodwood Revival. I have done a video of it before. I went a couple of years ago and I did a sort of vlog of the day. So if you search, I think it's probably just Shabbydabbydoodah Goodwood Revival, it probably comes up under that. So if you didn't see that and you wanted to, then you could watch my vlog from that, from a couple of years ago. Anyway, I haven't been for, you know, since then. But I was so lucky because I've got a friend who works there. And he was able to get me a wristband yesterday. So, yep, I was able to go to the Goodwood Revival yesterday with my sister. So that was fantastic. And yeah, we had a brilliant day. So that was really, really good. And yeah, it's been really hot over here in, you know, the last few days, which is so bizarre because we've had like the world's worst summer. You know, I mean, I'm not kidding. It's been a horrible summer. Oh, let's have one in this colour, shall we? Horrible summer. And yeah, suddenly now we've had like this weird freak, exceptionally hot last few days. So I think we had like temperatures of like 34 at times. So it's really odd. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, it's cooled off a little bit today, but it is still quite clammy. So yeah, I mean, everyone who'd obviously travelled over, because I mean, people come from all around the world for this event, and you know, they were very lucky obviously that the weather was so lovely, because some years obviously the weather is not great. And I mean, how disappointing when you've obviously spent all of that money, you know, coming across and all of that effort. People really go to a lot of trouble to, you know, to buy these fantastic, you know, vintage outfits and things like that. How disappointing when then you get here and it's, you know, raining or, you know, freezing or anything like that. So yeah, it was really nice that the weather was lovely, you know, for everybody obviously who was coming a long way. So yeah, that's kind of, you know, was really exciting. So yep, had a really nice day. And yeah, we were really lucky because we managed to go in like one of the vintage cars. So they were doing like these taxi rides to this very posh like restaurant, you know, if you were going there for lunch. Well, of course we weren't going there for lunch. But I asked this young lad, and I said, you know, how much is it to go in one of the vintage cars? You know, can you just go in them? And he said, oh no, only if you're going for lunch at, you know, this restaurant. He said, are you going for lunch there? I said, no. So he said, oh, well, let me just ask. And he said, oh, well, he said, yeah, they can give you just a drive around. He said, just say you might go there for lunch. So I said, oh, okay. So, yeah, we did that, and we just had like a little ride around him. It was a 1937 Austin Healey. Now, that wouldn't have really meant anything to me, you know, if someone said that to me. So just picture like the, you know, the general 1930s kinds of cars, you know, with like those really big wheels and the, I don't know, really big sort of wheel arch type bits, and, you know, like this sort of sweeping, would they be like a door tread or something? I don't know. But anyway, it was one of those, and oh my goodness, what a lovely treat to be able to go in one of those. So yeah, we had such a brilliant time. So that was really fun. What else have I been up to? So as you can see, I'm still persevering with my nails. So yeah, I did mention it was because my friend has just like qualified to be able to do the nails. So yeah, that was why I've had them done. Now, what I'm going to do on this, I'm going to actually cut this down a bit so as I lessen the bulk. And then I'm going to just glue it here to the side. And that way I've just got a bit less bulk going on. You know, when it's the velvet ribbon, it's just going to lessen some of the bulk maybe. So yeah, perhaps we'll try that with all the velvet. Yeah, so it's because my friend had learnt to do the nails. So, you know, I wouldn't have probably had my nails done previously. But because she's obviously just, you know, qualified, and, you know, she wants to get the practice in. So, yeah, she said, how are you getting on? I said, they're a little bit on the long side for me, to be honest. I'm sort of struggling a bit. So when she does, like, those infill things, I think she's going to cut them down a bit. So, yeah, we shall see. And then maybe I will get on a bit better with them because they are a little bit on the long side for me. But, yeah, that's why I've still... Or that's why I had the nails done in the first place. And that's why I've still got them. But, yeah, I am feeling really super girly and feminine with them, I must admit. And I did say that, you know, in my previous video, I think, where I talked about them. That, yeah, I might be struggling to kind of like... you know, type or do anything, but oh, I do feel very girly and feminine, which is lovely. There we go. So yeah, obviously I've not really watched anything on TV. Yeah, I've not watched anything, you know. I've been obviously really busy because obviously last week was busy moving out. Then obviously I was out of the house, you know, and like I say, I've only got back this morning. So I haven't really watched TV, to be honest, really at all, since probably last week, you know, before I moved out of the house. So, yeah. I managed to go to the beach, however, with my son's... Did my daughter come? I'm trying to remember what night it was. Did she come? No, she didn't. So, yeah, with both my sons and their friends. So, yeah, one night managed to go to the beach with them because where I was staying, you know, there was a beach nearby. So, yeah, it wasn't the beach that I would normally go to, but it was a different beach. So, yeah, we had a really lovely evening down the beach because, like I say, there's been this, like, really weird freakishly hot weather. So, yeah, that was kind of really nice. What else? So I've tried to go on my laptop as much as I can. Been working on an autumn kit. So I haven't really done many kits lately. I have been doing more the background collection papers because I keep obviously receiving messages from people saying, oh, could you do this in the background pages and could you do this in the background collections? So yeah, the background collections, you know, have been predominantly what I've been making lately. But yeah, I'm doing, oh, it's got some glue stuck on it. Oh, well, it might be covered up when we put it together. So yeah, I've been doing mainly those, but I have been working on a full-blown, you know, autumn kit really, whilst I've been out of my house. Like I say, I've been, you know, since I've come back in this morning, I've set that to print, so that's busy printing at the moment. My printer's in the other room because, of course, you know, I was like moving everything around whilst the house was being rented out. So yeah, it will be a full-blown kit. It's not ready yet or anything, and you know, until you kind of print things off, I mean, it might you know, look absolutely shocking now. It looks lovely on the screen, but who knows, when I come to print things, you know, they can sometimes look very different. So it might not look very good at all, in which case it will be ages before it's uploaded. But yeah, hopefully that will be up quite soon. So that's what I've been doing on the laptop. I didn't get as much done on it as I was hoping because, of course, when you're sort of in somebody else's house, it's very difficult because, you know, you don't want to be rude and not chatting. So, I mean, when I'm on the laptop, you know, doing kind of digis and things, I tend to be quite silent and, you know, really just working. I'm better if I'm crafting because I can craft and chat. If I'm laptop working, I tend to be laptop working and silent. So, yeah, I was, you know, laptop working, but not really being silent. And so, of course, you know, I didn't get as much done as I'd hoped. I mean, I was hoping I was going to have actually finished the autumn kit, but yeah, I haven't finished it, sadly. So yeah, it's sort of a work in progress, but hopefully I'm not a million miles away, providing it's printing out properly and I'm on the right track. I mean, obviously if it looks shocking and I have to kind of do a lot of it again, then of course that's going to set me back and I'll, you know, really have a lot to do. But yeah. And now I'm back, hopefully I will be restocking my physical shop at some point. Hopefully this week. I don't know. Yeah, I shall have to see. I've got to go to a funeral tomorrow. It's one of my kind of, you know, really old friends. It's his mum's funeral. Bless her. So, yeah, I just really want to kind of show my respect, really. So, you know, his wife kind of, you know, said that his mum had died, and yeah, I've known them as a couple, like, for a really long time, but I mean, he was kind of like a childhood friend, you know, who we all used to hang out, him, you know, alongside a whole bunch of other people. But you know, then he obviously met his wife. They were only very young, and my partner at the time, he was like the best man at their wedding and things. So, you know, yeah, I do, you know, I would like to go and obviously pay my respects at the funeral. So that's tomorrow, and it's right in the middle of the day. So obviously that would take up, you know, most of my day. And obviously I've got to do some cleaning today, even though I'm hoping my son's going to do most of it. You know, obviously I will pay him. But yeah, I said to him, oh, shall I just be getting on with the cleaning, you know? And he's like, I'd rather you didn't, Mum, you know. I think he thinks I don't make a very good job of things. So I'm only entrusted to clean certain things, you know. He's always like, oh, don't touch the Hoover because you break it. I think because, you know, I just suck up anything in the Hoover's path. So, yeah, I just, you know, if it's on the floor, it's being sucked up. And then, of course, you know, the Hoover sort of gets clogged up very quickly. So he's like, no, don't you touch anything, you know. So, yeah, I've only been entrusted with certain things, but, you know, I mean, ultimately, he kind of is obviously much better than I am. Yeah, so hopefully I will be uploading some stuff, or, you know, restocking my physical shop, but it just kind of depends how I get on this week, really. So, and obviously last week Natalie was not able to come to my house to work, you know, because of course I wasn't in the house. So hopefully she's going to come later on in the week. She started a new job because she does another, you know, different part-time job. So she's just started there. So yeah, she's going to be coming later this week. So yeah, maybe like Thursday or Friday, because she's got to do a couple of extra hours and things, you know, for her new job to, you know, whilst they're training and things like that. So yeah, it's just kind of busy. So I can't wait for like a couple of weeks' time when hopefully everything's kind of died down and it'll all be much calmer. So that will be miles better. Okay. Bo's asleep. She's asleep on my bed. Like, obviously I haven't changed the bedding yet. But, you know, the guests were very courteous and they've made the bed and everything. I mean, obviously I wouldn't get in it myself, you know, without changing it. But Bo didn't seem to mind. I think she's obviously really missed it because she loves. I've got like a throw on the bed, and her favourite place is, you know, just under the throw. So not under the actual bed covers, but, you know, she goes onto the duvet and then kind of burrows under the throw. And, oh, gosh, she could not wait to go under there. So, yeah, she's currently asleep in my room under the bed covers. So, yeah, bless her. She's not fazed by the fact it's dirty bedding, you know, and it needs washing. But, yeah, she's obviously like just, oh, I'm back. I'm home. Great. I can go my favourite place. So, yeah, she's kind of like just asleep under there. And, you know, she's loving it and she'd missed it because quite often if I'm filming, she'll come in and be with me, you know, even if she's been under there earlier, she will kind of, you know, as soon as I like leave the room or anything, she then, you know, follows me and comes in here. But today she hasn't. She's like, no, I'm back in my favourite place. I'm not moving. She's, yeah, just asleep in the, under the cover there. So, bless her. There we go. Okay. I can't believe how quick this year is flying by. And funnily enough, I was saying, you know, this morning when I went to the gym, you know, on my way back to come home, yeah, I just, you know, we were saying, oh my goodness, this year has just whizzed by so quickly. It's almost like a freak year. It's just really weird. Don't know what is going on, but the time's just going quicker and quicker. I mean, I guess that happens as you get older. And I probably repeated myself, and I said this, you know, lots of times. to various people, so I've probably said it on my channel, but, you know, I can only assume it's because, obviously, you know, like, when you're 10, a whole year, I mean, that would be, or 12, let's say, when you're 12, a whole year, I mean, that's 10% of your life, isn't it? I mean, when you're obviously, you know, older, a year is a much less significant amount of time, isn't it? And much less percentage-wise, you know, of your life. So whether or not that's why your life seems to be flying by, you know, when you're older, I'm not really sure. But it's very, you know, very scary, isn't it? How quickly the time actually does go, I think, when you get older. And, yeah. I wish it would slow down, that's for sure, but it does not seem to. I'm just going to cut these header type pieces off so that, you know, my lace is not quite so long. So I'm just obviously cutting the lace and, you know, prepping that. Now, we've only got 2 more weeks until we are back at the 100-week point of the mass making. So we will be up to 200 weeks of mass making for the journal, you know, junk journal mass making sessions that we have. Which, oh, again, can't believe that we've even done 200, to be honest. It's so shocking. Now, I don't know what you guys think. Are we going to go for a 3rd round of reruns? Now, I know I did mention this several weeks back, and lots of you did comment and said, yes, you would be more than happy to do a third bunch of reruns. I mean, I don't want to be completely dull and, you know, completely kind of like, oh, what's the word? You know, but you all think, oh my goodness, she's doing the same old thing again. I mean, personally, I'm more than happy to do them if there is a, you know, if there is a call for it, like if you guys want them. Because for me, I think, well, I have used, you know, genuinely, I have used a lot of the things we have mass made. And so, you know, could easily kind of restock my things. Also, you know, it's like I said, this, you know, this bunch of reruns, it is actually quite helpful because strange how quickly that you forget what you've made. And then it's like, oh, I've forgotten all about those. Oh, forgotten about those pockets and things like that. So, you know, from that point of view, I actually find the mass makings very helpful. And obviously there are still people who have not ever seen, you know, the mass making sessions before. So, you know, people who are new to junk journals, new to my channel, things like that. So for them, it's actually not a 3rd time round of mass makes. It's their first time of seeing it. So I'm more than happy to do a 3rd round. But I just don't want to be like really flogging a dead horse. You know, if you kind of think, oh gosh, we've done the mass making to death. What are you doing? Then, you know, I just would appreciate your feedback really of what your thoughts are with going forward. You know, do you want to just continue with more mass makings? I mean, personally, I find them very different to any format of videos. Just wondering which, I mean, this lace, I'm not sure really whether this is ideal, to be honest, but we'll give it a try. Yeah, I mean, I find them very different to other videos that we make from a perspective. You know, these are much more chatty. They're very relaxed. You know, we are bulk making. So, you know, we're not sort of not having to concentrate as such. But, you know, we are, well, I guess we're being quite productive. But I also find that this is the very friendly one that we really do chat. And, you know, I get a lot of comments. And, you know, I really feels like I'm hanging out with you guys. You know, so from that perspective, I find these very different to other videos. So just on that basis, you know, I will love to continue with them. But like I say, I mean, I don't want to continue with them, you know, at the expense of being really dull and you all kind of thinking, oh my goodness, she's, you know, she's done this to death. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. And I mean, obviously I'm not going to be able to please everybody because there might be some people who would like them. There might be some people who don't. So, you know, I will just get a sort of general feel for what you guys think really. And then, you know, yeah, pitch it from there. So, you know, I mean, obviously if I get an overwhelming majority saying, oh gosh, no, not more, then that's fine. But obviously if the overwhelming majority says, yes, you know, would like to have more of these, then of course I will, you know, I will do more. So just, yeah, let me know below what your thoughts are. Are you up for a sort of third bunch or third round of these, or is it getting very stale now and it's like, oh, no more, no more. There we go. Oh, I noticed this week coming out at the cinema, there is my best, not my best friend's wedding. Sorry, that's that Julia Roberts film. No, not that at all. My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3. So third Big Fat Greek Wedding. I don't know why this has been such a hit really, but yeah, it's one of those weird sort of films, isn't it? That just seems to, again, have like this strange, crazy following, doesn't it? And it's got that lovely Aidan in it from Sex and the City, who, I mean, I quite like him. And yeah, I mean, he never seems to look any different, does he? He doesn't seem to have aged really much at all. But yeah, he's still in it. And, well, all the cast, they're all the original cast. Oh, sorry, I've just noticed I've got hot glue all over my ring. All the cast, I think, are all the original, you know, the same people. Certainly him and the wife are. And they're a really nice kind of couple together. You know, they go really nicely together. So, yeah, anyway, that's out this week. So if I get time, you know, I did mention it to my son and said, oh, should we go and watch that? So, yeah, he's going to let me know. But, yeah, we might go and watch that on Wednesday. I mean, I will offer my daughter to come. She sees her dad on a Wednesday generally. And, yeah, we tend to go to the cinema on a Wednesday when she's not with us. Because she doesn't like the cinema. I mean, who doesn't like the cinema? Yeah, she doesn't. She just finds it boring. And even when it's a, you know, child's film, she just doesn't like it. She struggles to sit still. You know, she's not really kind of that interested in films. She just, yeah, it's not really her thing. So if ever I say, oh, do you want to watch that, you know, or would you prefer, you know, us to go when you're not here, she's always like, yeah, go when I'm not here. So yeah, she doesn't want to come. So yeah, he and I might go and watch that without her, but we shall see. So again, let me know below if you have been to see it, or, you know, do you like those Big Fat Greek Wedding films? And yeah, just let me know if you've been. What was it like? Did you enjoy it? Was it a good film? They're just one of those feel-good, fun films, I think. And, I mean, who doesn't like feel-good, fun films, to be honest? Right, now. So, we're just making, obviously, the collars here. So, we'll just get a bunch of these done. And then we'll just assemble these. And put some nice, you know, centres on. Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's so weird. I mean, let me know below. What's the weather doing where you are? I mean, if you're in the UK, have you been having these hot temperatures? Like if you're up north, I'm right down south in the UK, and, you know, it's been phenomenally hot. But I think it has been lovely everywhere. So, yeah, let me know below. And if you are, you know, outside of the UK, if you're, you know, in the US or anywhere else, what's the weather doing where you are? Have you been having, like, freak weather? I mean, obviously, around Europe, you know, this year, they had incredibly hot temperatures, like about 6 weeks ago. Or maybe a bit longer than that, actually, now. As far as I'm aware, I think that's all kind of cooled down now. You know, more like sort of regulated to normal sort of standards of temperatures. But I could be wrong. You know, and what's it doing elsewhere? Like if you're in Canada or, you know, if you're in the US or, you know, anywhere else, you know, what's the weather doing? Is it kind of like really unseasonably cold or warm or, you know, wet or anything else? It's really bizarre, isn't it? I mean, it was a shame over here because that entire summer holidays, the weather was just awful. I mean, literally, we didn't get to go down the beach, not one time, nothing. It was really, really, really rubbish. Probably the worst summer, you know, for ages. Yeah. I mean, I don't think it was overly wet. I'm just trying to think now. I'll probably say this and everyone will say, oh, it was raining all the time. I mean, sometimes I just think, you know, where you're like in working, I don't really necessarily even notice. But yeah, I don't think it was necessarily wet. But I mean, certainly it was not good. It was not nice weather. It was, yeah, pretty rubbish. And, you know, some days were even really quite cold. So definitely was not the best. Right, there we go. Just do a couple more of these and then we'll get assembling some. So I might try and get a bit creative and mix some of the some of the ribbons up. We'll just kind of see how it's going. Right, there we go. Okay, right. Let's now assemble some of these. So let's have a look. We've got these gorgeous ones. Now these, I'm wondering, I wonder if we could have, maybe, or maybe we'll have something like this. I'm like losing my, yeah, losing the ability to kind of think how this needs to go. I think it probably has to go like that, doesn't it? So, yeah. Okay. And then have this gorgeous colour. Isn't this a beautiful colour? I don't know what colour really you'd call it, but it's like a sort of plum, fuchsia-y, I don't know. Anyway, gorgeous colour. So let's just assemble some of these. Now, are we going to try and mix some more up, or shall we just be boring? It's really those velvet ones that I think it does sort of eliminate the bulk a little bit if you can mix them. But that being said, I did try and glue them, didn't I, in a way that we didn't have so much bulk. So, you know, they might not be too bulky anyway. Whoops. So, yeah, we might find that actually we did, you know, successfully eliminate some of the bulk anyway. So if I just pop that one down there. Like that. Or we could have that one perhaps going across. Oh, that's quite nice, isn't it? I mean, it's weird how they don't necessarily look great until you put the centre on. You know, it's the centre that really kind of like transforms them, isn't it? That's what, you know, they suddenly then come together and look really lovely. Now, shall I just try that? Ooh, I mean, that's quite nice actually, but let's just see. I think probably this one's better, just sticking with all the same colours, although weirdly I quite like it even like that. Oh, should we do that? I mean, I can always make more later, can't I? Okay. Let's pop these two together. Like that. Maybe like that, that's better. So again, just sort of trying to, you know, put them where we've got like less bulk going on. And this one across the middle. There we go. Let's have some of these. honestly, I love all these colours together. I mean, again, obviously my big love of colour here, but there we go. You know, perhaps I'll try and put some of these into my shop or something. I mean, I did have these in my, so this is on my shabbydabbydoodah.co.uk website. So that was the shop that I was referring to earlier when I said I'll try and do a restock at some point this week. I did, do you know what? I'm actually thinking if you use the velvet, if you just did the 2 layers, would probably be helpful, wouldn't it? Because of course then it's got less bulk anyway. So yeah, perhaps we'll just do 2 rather than the 3 kind of bits. What was I saying? Yes, I did have some of these in my shop in the ribbon sets. I had like some ribbon, can't remember now what I called them, but like a ribbon assortment pack where they included a jabot. So again, you know, perhaps I will try and put some more of those in my shop soon. Yeah, so keep your eyes peeled for, you know, if they go in there. I mean, sometimes it is just like a case of, you know, how quick I can make things. So, you know, just, yeah, be a bit patient if, you know, if there's something that you want. It probably will be restocked, you know, but obviously it may just take a little while before, you know, before it is restocked. So, oh, I love that combination with the, this lace. It's very antique looking, isn't it? So, yeah, let's pop that on there. I might have to quickly go and get another hot glue stick, quickly, and yeah, be back in a second. Hold on. Right, I'm back. So, where were we? Right, okay. Yeah, can't remember now what I was waffling on about now. No doubt nothing very exciting, I am sure. Oh, I must tell you the funniest story. So I was going to the revival, you know, having got that ticket, and you know, looking forward to having a really great day out. So I went to collect the ticket on the Saturday evening, meeting my friend at the revival. So I messaged him and I said, you know, coming to the revival, or, you know, well, obviously he knew I was coming to the revival to get the ticket because that's what we'd arranged. But, you know, I said, am I coming in, you know, to have a drink or anything? Like, shall I come dressed up, you know, like in, not fancy dress, but, you know, vintage dress kind of thing? Or shall I wear my normal clothes? Like, because I thought, well, if I get there and actually I'm not even going in at all, you know, there's no point getting dressed up. But if you did go, you know, you wouldn't want to be in your normal clothes because you'd just look really odd, you know, because everybody there is dressed up. So, you know, very, very quickly, just quickly threw on a sort of outfit that I had from a previous year. But since then, I had got a different hat. So it's a vintage hat, and it is a genuine vintage hat. But I haven't worn it. You know, I haven't worn it, obviously, yet. So, but I'd, you know, packed it with my things thinking, oh, you know, I might wear that hat. Oh, that's quite nice with the green, isn't it? So, yeah, I thought, oh, I'll wear that hat. Now, it's one of those, it's like a pillbox hat, but slightly bigger. And my outfit was kind of a 1940s-ish type of style. So I put on this hat, I put my hair in a bun and I put on the hat. And of course you kind of wear them, you know, sort of more to the front of your head and like at an angle, you know, a jaunty sort of angle. So of course it would, you know, fall off your head, wouldn't it? But it had elastic in the hat. It also had little combs that you could try and attach it to your hair, but, you know, no chance. So I was like, oh, can't be doing with those. So I just put the elastic, you know, under my chin. Now, I said to my mum, you know, oh, does my outfit look okay? And, you know, I had looked at the elastic under my chin and I thought, oh, that's really weird. I mean, I don't recall seeing other people looking like that. Because, I mean, they looked like what are those things, you know, outside Buckingham Palace, the, oh gosh, I can't think what their names are. You know, the soldiers with the big black hats, and I can't even think what they're called. The word Busby keeps ringing into my head, but I'm not sure that's the correct term. Anyway, they have a big strap under their chin. I looked a little bit like that, and I did think, well, this is weird. I mean, I don't recall seeing other people look like that with their hats, but hey, who knows? You know, I mean, I'm pretty oblivious, so maybe I just haven't noticed, you know. So I said to my mum, oh, you know, do I look all right? What do you think? Oh, I didn't use that look. I was going to use that with that blue one, but anyway. Oh, perhaps I might be able to use it with this. I said, you know, how does my outfit look? Does it look okay? Well, my mum just was laughing, and she was like, oh, I mean, I think people wear those elastics, like, you know, tucked under their hair at the back. Ah, that just made so much more sense. So, of course, I took the hat off and I tucked the elastic at the back underneath my button to keep the hat on. Oh, it looked so much better. But it was just so funny because if I hadn't have seen my mum, you know, and said, does my outfit look okay? I would have just gone. I would have just gone with my outfit as it was, thinking that was how it should be. I mean, I did, you know, I did think, well, this is a bit weird, you know. I don't feel like I've seen other people with it looking like this, but, you know, hey, I wouldn't have really given it that much thought, and I'd have just gone. And my sister kind of summed it up, and my friend actually, you know, they just said, oh, you would have looked like a bellboy, you know, like, yes, I would have looked like a bellboy, do you know what I mean? And it was just, yeah, really funny. And then my sister apparently said to my mum, you know, oh my goodness, I mean, Tina is like clueless, isn't she? You know, and it makes you wonder how she goes out, you know, when she's on her own. Like, yes, you know, I am pretty clueless when it comes to things like that. I think just, yeah, I've never really kind of noticed until you come to wear something and then you're like, you know, that looks strange. But it just didn't even occur to me that actually it went round the back of your head, you know. I just thought, that's odd. I don't recall seeing other people with that. But I just thought, well, you know, I am quite an oblivious person, so the chances are I just haven't really noticed other people with their straps under their chin. Anyway, luckily my mum pointed it out before I went and just, you know, embarrassed myself. But yeah, I just looked like, literally like a bellboy. It's like, oh my goodness. Embarrassing or what? I mean, actually, what I should have done... Oh, look, I didn't use that in the end either. What I should have done, and all I've got now are these three random things, which, of course, wouldn't really make the best jabot, would they? Although, to be honest... Oh, do you know what? Maybe I should do that. Shall we? Shall we be brave and just put them together? I mean, that is, like, really not the, you know, the done thing, but hey, let's just do it. Oh, I can't remember now what I was saying about that either. Anyway, but yeah, I should have taken some photos, to be honest, and I could have posted them, and you could have all had a good laugh, really, and, you know, seen how ridiculous that I looked, but it didn't occur to me to do that at the time, but now I'm thinking, oh, that would have been a really fun picture, to be honest. Looking like a bellboy. But the worst of it is, yeah, I would have actually gone out like that. You know, if my mum hadn't have said, I just would have thought, oh, well, I'll just go, you know. Better than my hat flying off. Better to look like a bellboy than have your hat flinging about, you know. Oh, I've done those, like, really weird, those ribbons there. Yeah. Anyway. Oh, well. Let's have it on here. So, again, just trim that down a bit. Okay. Right, there we go. So, I do realise this is a very, what's the word, acquired taste, you know, not to everybody's liking. But I just thought, do you know what? Let's do something fun. So this is probably up there with the whole, you know, elastic under the chin type of thing. But anyway, it was just something for a bit of fun to just see how it looked. So let's get some lovely centres out from here. And I mean, like I say, if you don't have anything like this, you can definitely use other things. You could use buttons, you could use, you know, anything. So, you know, wax seals. Sorry, I'm just sort of losing my train of thought here. Yeah, wax seals or buttons or, you know, little bows or something like that. You know, lots of different alternatives that you could use. So you don't have to, you know, be using what I've got. So don't feel like, oh, you know, I haven't really got anything for the centres. You definitely can use different things. You know, and they're going to look lovely. Just wondering what to use in here, really. So, yeah, I might come back to that one. Yeah, maybe the green. Maybe a green one for in there. Maybe a pink here. Yeah, I haven't actually made any of these for quite a long time. And, you know, like all these things, when you sort of haven't made them for a while, I don't know about you, but I just forget how much I like making things, you know, or how much I like using them, or how much I like, you know, looking at them. And that's, yeah, definitely the case with these. I'm like, oh, I forgot how lovely these were. Oh, and look at that different look just by turning the gem. So all of these, I've put them this way round, but actually look at the different look that it makes just by that simple step of turning the gem round. I mean, peculiar as that sounds, but it's actually quite a big change, isn't it? To have the gem sort of sideways on, it's actually quite a significant difference. Oh, I'm just wondering whether I should have this on here instead. Yeah, I might have that green. Yeah, so I mean, just always play around with things, you know, like I said, just that very small thing of turning the gem around, and it just changes the whole look of it completely. So there we go. That looks quite nice, doesn't it? Right, okay. Do we like that one, or do we like this? I think that. Oh, maybe that one there. Yeah. Okay, right. So let's just quickly pop the centres on. One like that. Okay. So this is that one with just the two. And I think, you know, you probably agree, it doesn't really look that dissimilar, does it? I mean, it's definitely not looking horrible or any less pretty or anything like that. So, you know, you definitely can kind of change these around a little bit. So if your, you know, your ribbon is a bit bulky, like, you know, the velvet ribbon here or anything, then, you know, definitely you can just alter it by just using just the two lengths of ribbon instead of three, and, you know, change your gems around, or, you know, mix up your ribbon. If it's looking a little bit bulky, then use then a thinner ribbon in the middle. You could probably use a thinner width in the middle. That's another thing that I haven't played around with, but yeah, perhaps another alternative, if you used, like, say, velvet ribbon that was quite bulky, just sort of checking here whether I want that like that. Yeah. If you were using the velvet ribbon, again, like, which is quite a bulky ribbon, then what you could do is you could then use a thinner piece of ribbon. So where I said this was the 5/8, I think the next size ribbon is 3/8, and you could put that in the middle. So if I just pull in, I mean, this is dark green, so I'm not saying this is ideal, but well, actually it might be okay with this because that's green anyway. But you could have, I guess, put this in the middle, and actually that would look really pretty on there, wouldn't it? So, you know, just experiment and play around, and you'll probably find you can get all sorts of different looks that, you know, I'm sure that I have not even thought of or played around with at all. So yeah, I hope that you like them. And yeah, how many have we done? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we've made 11. So yeah, I think I've been filming about an hour, so 11, it's not too bad really. So yeah, I hope you like them. Have fun if you make some, and yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks then. Bye.